Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Yes, okay. I couldn't remember if I was live on this channel last or I used OBS on this channel last or the other one. I thought it was this one, so I just hit start streaming, and turns out I was right. So today, we're going to be doing one of these things. This is a hint as to what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be building a spread. I was going to use the headless spread because it has some stuff that I'm really into right now. Or at least I was into it the last time I looked at it. But then I was like, I got a little bit of time today. I've been very productive. And so I'll just build one. And so that's what we're going to do together. And we'll see. We'll see what comes out. Now, when I build spreads, I don't build them like this, but when I'm live, I do. And we'll just see what comes up to come out. Give these a few shuffles. Now, the first card is I think I do it by, like, the first card is the name / the title of the spread. The second card is the number of cards. No. Hold on, let me see if I can remember. Let me pull this up again. And they generally take a certain shade. Well, let's see. And then there's some like behind the scenes stuff. Not really, but why is the oh, okay, alright. So it looks like the first card is the title, the second card is the number of cards, and then the third card is the theme. And that's how I did this. Yeah, I built this one on here. I remember that one. So, let's do it. And let's see what comes out. I'm excited. My dreams have been interesting. There have been two former classmates that have been popping up. One is a girl, the other one is a guy. The girl involves adventure most of the time. And it's so interesting, like the only thing in my brain that's like the reason why it's this girl in particular is because she's one of my few friends that I had Latin class with. And that's actually where we sort of talked the most. It was in Latin class. That was like the only class we had together. I remember. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, she's my little adventuring buddy. Clorinda, hi, hello, how are you? I'm doing well. I was actually gonna send you a message, but it was like right before I was going to sleep, so I didn't want to like reach out and then be like, I'm going to bed. But I hope that everyone is well and that you're doing well. How are you doing, Clorinda? I am doing very well today. Very, very well indeed. But yeah, I met up with my adventuring buddy last night. And I was like carrying this thing around. So the time. Oh, we got two cards. So this is going to be the warrior spread. And I guess it's going to be 6 cards because the lovers came out. Another 6 card spread. Let's see. The warrior. This will be interesting. RRIOR. Spread. EAD. And 6 cards. Hey, look, now I'm writing Roman numerals, talking about Latin class. What'd you say? Still going. Yay, glad to hear that. The family is well. The family is well. Surprisingly enough. Not surprisingly enough. Alright, let's get a card for the theme. A card for the theme. I might just pick one. I may just pick one. Been crazy. Oh wow, yeah, you've been on my mind. I was like, oh, I should reach out to Clinda. I should have reached out. I've just been like, I had a little bit of a break for a few days, but I've been just working so much, trying to finish everything that I need to finish, and it's looking like this is a lot more doable than I was beginning to fear. But there's a part of me that knows that it will be, it'll all come together at the end. So the theme is the Page of Pentacles, Baron Samadi. The only thing I know about this, I think he's a witch doctor. I think there's the dude from The Princess and the Frog, but I don't think that's his name. So this is the part of the video where we do a little research on whatever this thing is. Whatever this thing is, that was so rude. On Baron Samadi. Yeah, but you know, we can still make time for people that we care about. Or at least that's what I believe. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see what's it. Let's see what's up with the Baron. Page of Wands. Samod. Wait. This is Samedi. Is this an O or an E? Yeah, it's an O on here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Now, usually. Oh, he's a character on Smite. Okay. That's why I was like, what? Usually I have a little bit of context on the thing that comes out as the theme, so it's not as bad. Or there's not as much research, it's more like fine. But hey, I can invest a little bit of time. So, also written Samdi is one of the Loa of Haitian voodoo. Is it Loa? I think. Smedi is a Loa of the dead, along with Baron's numerous other incarnations. LaCroix, not LaCroix. What? He is syncretized with Saint Martin de Porres. I only say LaCroix because that popped out the other night. I was like, I do not like LaCroix. And I guess the feast day is November 2nd. Rum, cigar, top hat, glasses with missing lens is the attributes of this. I'll be in here pretty soon. Let's see. Not Papa Legba. This will be interesting. So, patronage is death, tombs, gravestones, cemeteries, dead relatives, obscenities, healing, smoking, drinking, disruption, and spirits. He is the head. Oh, I cannot pronounce that. Gede. Family of Loa. His wife is Loa Maman Brigitte. Activities references. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. As well as being the master of the dead, Baron Samedi, or Semdi? I don't know how to pronounce this. I feel like I'm butchering somebody's like culture. Okay, Clarinda. This is gonna be a slow one until cards start coming out. But he's also the giver of life. He can cure mortals of any disease or wound, so long as he thinks it is worthwhile. His powers are especially great when it comes to voodoo, curses, and black magic. Even if somebody has been afflicted by a hex that brings them to the verge of death, they will not die if the Baron refuses to dig their grave. So long as the Baron keeps them out of the ground, they are safe. He also ensures that all corpses rot in the ground to stop any soul from being brought back as a zombie. Sounds very responsible of him. What he demands in return depends on his mood. Sometimes he is content with his followers wearing black, white, or purple clothes, or using sacred objects. Citation needed. He may simply ask for a small gift of cigars, rum, black coffee, grilled peanuts, or bread. But sometimes the Baron requires a voodoo ceremony to help him cross over into this world. So they're not giving me much, which I am totally fine with, because when it comes to like the pantheon of mythological figures and creatures, I'm fine with that. When it comes to people's actual practices, that's when I'm like, okay. So we have a master of the dead and a giver of life, a healer, and someone who ensures that corpses rot so that they don't rise as a zombie. That's interesting because I've been talking a lot about organic versus inorganic things lately, and how anything organic is subject to decay, and that there's a season, and that the feminine is that which gives birth to an organic vessel, and the masculine is that which basically, projects an inorganic consciousness. And when you put the masculine and feminine energies together, that's when you get something that is capable of sort of holding a life of its own and also growing and maturing and eventually passing, as all things do. But it's not until, people start getting concerned about having a legacy that never dies and stuff like that, then that causes issues because they become outdated, some of them. But anyway, welcome back. Let's see. I do want to get... Okay, so I got the theme. Oh, let me write that down. I gotta jot these little bullet points down. I don't think I did it for the headless bread, which is interesting because I did it for the other ones. So this is Baron Samadi or Samdi. I don't know how to pronounce it. Page of Wands. So we have Master of the Dead, Healer, Giver of Life, Ensures Decay, and Keeps Folks Above Ground. This is going to be interesting. Do I regret this? No. Minimal regret. Because I'm just like, I am not knowledgeable at all. But I can work off of that energy. Okay, that was quick. Now this... Ooh, 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords and 6 cards. I like this. Because I know exactly how I'm going to do this. This is to lay them out. Oh, okay. Now, 1 second, because some of these I'm going to make different. Now, the title doesn't always relate to the cards. But sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Sometimes things that are more expensive are worse. Hey, Zelda. How are you doing on this lovely Wednesday evening? Oh, it's the day before Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Happy Thanksgiving for those who celebrate. Maybe one day we'll do our indigenous people right. Hopefully that day comes sooner, a lot sooner rather than later. Hopefully one day, like, the whole world will do the indigenous people right. Because I don't think anybody does the indigenous people right, which is tragic, but also makes sense because it's a lot of European influence all over the place. So, hey, it's just the world that we inherited. Who did? Girl! Oh, what that mean? Alright. Yeah, Zelda. But we get to, correct it. How am I doing this? We're just gonna do it like this because this feels right. This feels good. Now I still have to number these. Bottom of the deck is the Emperor, which is the Sphinx. So this one is not going to be straightforward, which is fine. Which is totally fine. Sometimes I build spreads and then, like, they go out of order, but it's intentional. Don't ask me why, but it is. Hold up, this is not, there we go. This is not Fit My Fantasy. So on one side, life is springing from the ground. On the other side, it is being returned to the ground. And I'm tempted to go like this way, but I kind of want to go this way. Where did I? Oh, goodness. All right, yeah, I'm building a spread today, so it'll be a minute until we get there. So I actually want to set these down first. And then we'll come here. One second. And then we'll do this one. Yeah, we'll do it this way. Okay. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, wait. 6, 1, and 2. Okay. This is going to be interesting. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. But it's fine. These usually work out by the end. And I may never use it, after I build it. So let's see. I should have brought my little selenite ball down here, but that's fine. So number 1, we have Justice, which is the Valkyrie. And it's interesting that the Valkyrie came out right here, because with the Warrior and Baron Samedi, it was very Valkyrie vibes. Especially with Baron Samedi having charge over the dead and, like, able to give the gift of life tied to the Warrior. That's like what the Valkyries do. They pluck the worthy from the battlefield, take them to Valhalla, and then at Ragnarok, they're resurrected. Now, let me do my little arrows so I know the direction that these go in. So this, we'll say a valorous. I just tried to spell valor with a U. Oh my gosh. Am I like English or something all of a sudden? Like when I think I spelled favorite with a U one time accidentally, and I was like, oh my goodness. Valorous. Well, noticed. Oh yeah, yeah, okay. So this will be the space of things probably that we may think go unnoticed, but they actually don't. And then the Ace of Swords is down here. Quetzalcoatl. And I'll just call this Wings on Ancient Things. See, that's why the Emperor. That's why the Sphinx is at the overall for this. Because this is gonna be who knows what. I'm so excited to see what this turns into. Hold up, wait. Oh, okay. And then we have the Ghost, which is the Two of Swords. This is interesting. So this is like in Valhalla. This is something in transit. Transient. And then let's hope that the Baron puts it in the ground at 6 so it doesn't rise as a zombie. And then we have the Centaur over here, which is the Chariot. So the Ace of Swords into the Chariot. Ooh. I don't know what this is going to be, y'all. I feel like I'm going to have to preface this constantly and repeatedly because I have absolutely no idea how this is actually going to play out. But the concept is fairly consistent. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which is the Salamander. Two aces with the Chariot in between. That's interesting. Oh, that's also interesting because I think last time I was on here, or last time I was live, I remember the underworld was a huge theme. Hades, Persephone, and Demeter. And how when Persephone goes to visit Hades in the underworld, that's when everything on the surface dies. Because Demeter's like, I'm not taking care of nothing because my daughter ain't here and I'm sad. And when she comes back from the underworld in the spring, everything grows again. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so happy. And so, Hades gets to see his wife for like 6 months out of the year. And then she gets to see her mother 6 months out of the year. And her mother gets to see her daughter 6 months out of the year. But for 12 months out of the year, Persephone is with someone that she assumedly cares about very much, either her mother or her husband. So for her, I don't know, it may not be as rough of a deal. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, this is the. Okay, this makes sense. And we'll just put Valhalla up here in the themes. I got a Norse mythology book, and in the beginning it has some stuff about pronunciation. And whenever there's like a double L, it's pronounced like a TL, and so I think it's something like Valhertel or something like that. Valhertel. I don't know. I feel like if I say like a really offensive accent, then I'll get a little closer. But it's like Valhertel or something like that. I don't know. And I watched somebody because they were talking about one of the Thor movies, and she was talking about how terrible their pronunciation is. Um, and for this place they called Neder, it was like Neder. And of course, you roll the R. I can only roll an R if I'm like speaking in an accent. I can't do it in my default voice. It's so sad. Neder. That was decent. So number 6. Hold up, wait. Oh, it's this one. Okay, I was like, wait, hold up. Is the High Priestess the fortune teller? Oh, this is like some past life type stuff. In the complete picture, that's what this is. From the Valkyrie and Justice to this ghost in the Two of Swords to the High Priestess. Like, this is the stuff that we come in with. And this is how it sort of begins to play out in this lifetime. Because the salamander is the regrowth, right? The tail grows back. This is when we've reached the moment of completion of integrating all of this. And that's interesting because I think I might have a past life. I don't think I built it. But that kind of sort of was on my mind before I came live. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay. Um. Well, this is obviously the SKT, but oh goodness. Oh, this is more than what I bargained for. And this is more than what I bargained for. But we'll see what it's like. And how do you even do it like a collective past life reading? Well, I guess people do it. I think I've come across a few. Pick a pile, pick a card. This was you in a past life. Okay. Emperor at the bottom of the deck with that Sphinx. What's behind the Sphinx? I'm just curious. The Three of Cups, the Witch. What's at the top of the deck? Top of the deck is the Hierophant, the Voodoo Warlock. Here's the Voodoo Warlock. When we have the Baron Samadi, or Baron Samdi spread. Or his energy. Interesting. It's also interesting that this is coming out under the energy of the Page of Wands, but we'll see. We'll see. And I'm probably going to timestamp in the description where this starts. Oh gosh, this will be alright. We'll go there together and we'll see what's up. But with this being the warrior, like obviously this is actionable. Well, I guess that is just the title. Because it was the Page of Wands, right? And then the last card, or the 5th card, was the Ace of Wands. And so we have the Page and the Ace. This isn't about really... I feel like it's more about revealing. Ace of Swords was just at the cut, which is interesting. Is it still there? Look, Ace of Swords and the High Priestess. The Ace of Swords was here, and the High Priestess was right here. I feel like it's more to uncover something than it is to really teach us how to utilize, or whatever. But we'll just see. The Tower with the High Priestess. The 6 of Swords and the High Priestess. And then Strength and the 6 of Swords. Okay. I kind of want to do this different now. Bottom of the deck is the Outlaw. Water, Neptune, Hangman, Pisces energy. We see the star of, or the eye of the sun and the eye of the moon. The Outlaw, this is, and was it the witch behind the Sphinx? Somebody was a witch in a past life. Burned at the stake. Burned at the stake. Or hunger. Whatever. You know, they had a few. If she doesn't drown, she's a witch. But if she does drown, she's dead. So not very effective. At least in my opinion. Oh, this is a little... We're not even going to mess with it. Because every time I try to do that, it just makes it worse. So we have the discerning one and the conservator. Which is interesting. Because the conservator is a protector. Or it's supposed to be. The energy of the conservator is supposed to be one of protection. Someone who protects those who are unwilling to sort of defend themselves. And then we have the discerning one. Now, you know, there's a certain conservator out there that I literally just saw. I was on YouTube for a minute before. Oh, wait. Let me timestamp real quick. Sorry. I'll do 31:30 about. But yeah, as I was scrolling, I saw something about, it was posted like a week ago, and it was about Britney Spears talking about her father, and how much of a not great conservator he is. And it's supposed to be this energy of protection, and it's interesting that it's on the Four of Pentacles, because what happens, or what can happen, is that it becomes something that people get into because of greed. And because of whatever they get sort of out of it. Right? Could be greed, or it could be an element of control. And it's not extremely uncommon to see, typically in film, but I'm sure it also happens in real life, someone who deliberately incapacitates someone or renders them unable to do the things that they would otherwise be able to do. I'm curious what's at the top of the deck. Top of the deck is the Gardener, the Seven of Pentacles. The Gardener and the Seven of Pentacles in this type of spread, to me, makes this feel like something that we've dedicated lifetimes to the mastering of, or something that we've had plenty of practice to get right. And I feel like I've talked about something like this before, because I was like, not everything you necessarily use. Or there may be some things that you don't think you would use, but they may actually be helpful. But with the conservator and the discerning one, whatever this is, I feel like it's something that we have to utilize a certain amount of caution with. It's something that is not to be taken lightly, right? At the very least. And again, I don't know what's going to come out, because this is not what I was expecting. It's never really what I'm expecting, but this, I mean, again, like, I did kind of think about it a little bit, and I, like, literally before I came live, I was like, oh, do I have something, like, related to past lives? Or, like, ancestors? And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. Then I was like, oh, I could do the Horseman, the Headless spread, because that had something on it that I liked. And I was like, oh, I can build one, and I already talked about that. And then before I came live, I was scrolling a little bit on my little YouTube feed, and I saw that video of Britney, like I talked about, and her conservatorship, and how it's just not doing what its title would suggest that it would do. Injustice was the first card that came out. I'm grabbing my water. I was going to try to do this without water, but it's not working. So hopefully I don't have to go to the restroom again. So this is going to be interesting. And the outlaw is here. Honestly, part of this discerning one, before even getting too far into it, it feels like the type of thing that someone would be persecuted for or not accepted for. Or at the very least, just kind of sort of made an outcast, which is being not accepted, right? And so it's like it comes in under the space of things that we've learned to hide, and we may not even consciously fully know why. Now, again, I feel like the discernment that we practice with this is sort of being selective with how we utilize whatever this is, whatever this space is, whatever this gift is. It's not for like, I mean, it's the conservator, it's the Four of Pentacles, it's for a reason. I mean, Baron Samedi is a healer. So maybe somebody's going to be able to like heal like any disease, even the ones that are currently incurable. And so you could come into the space of sort of using that for financial, like as a job. Potentially, I mean, you can always choose to do whatever you want with your gifts. But there's still an element of wisdom here. And honestly, it also feels like if you are a healer, knowing what things to heal, right? Because at a certain point, I feel like mortality teaches us certain things. And when we no longer have that respect for the limited amount of time that we have, at least in these incarnations, then it could get us to, not do in time some of the things that we could do. And there's still a respect for like natural laws that need to be followed, right? Like if it's someone or something's time, then it's their time. And even if you could hold on to it, sometimes it's for us to let it go. But again, we ain't even got into this yet. Casey! Hey, Casey, how's it going? It's a weird one today. I don't know what this is. Hopefully I'm not extremely late on that. Oof! Oh, only a minute, yeah. How you doing today, Casey? Alright, so let's get into this. Where are we starting? I think we start up here. I'm pretty sure we do, because I remember flipping over Justice first. We do! Goodness, this is gonna be interesting. Oh, no problem. Don't worry about it. And I'm glad to hear that you're good. I'm good as well. I'm real good today. Could be better. I'm sorry. I am perfectly fine. Let's get into this. So we're starting with the Kindred, which is the Three of Chalices, which is interesting. So the Three of Chalices involves the element. I think the Three of Chalices is hydromancy. So where's the witches? Where are the witches? Here are the witches. Gathering in this space of prophecy. Now, each receives their own individual prophecy from gazing into that cup. And there are these three stars at the top. Now, stars to me speak of things that are long removed, Where your witches at? Witch, please. I'm sorry. Oh goodness. All right. But it feels like something delayed. Honestly, it feels like this is like, oh, this feel like this. It feels like prophecy. Kinda, not kinda. It does. It almost feels like if you knew that. I know I talked about this earlier, right? So if you have to run a marathon, if you're wise, you'll prepare to run that marathon. And if you prepare enough, you'll finish. And if you prepare even more than that, and if you are so physically inclined, you may actually place first or within the first Y amount of people out of X. And so it's bringing Artemis Fowl to my mind again. It's like these things that we kind of sort of hide in our subconscious to use later. And with the 3 stars, it feels like it's like lifetimes removed. But then it's like, how would you even remember stuff like this? Hey, there's Clorinda. She's back. How would we even remember something like this? I'll do that. Well, mm, I'll just stick with this. Oh, this is just precursory. It's not intended to be extremely deep because that is not my wheelhouse. If you want something, go to someone who reads past lives or someone who can do a past life regression or whatever like that. But it comes from the space of trials or doing. So next is the Archangel of Mysteries. And the space that was the Ace of Swords, Quetzalcoatl, and I put wings on ancient things, and it's the Archangel of Mysteries. Oh goodness. Oh gosh. Christmas cookies! Oh snap! Oh wow! I'm excited. I wish I had some Christmas cookies. Maybe, maybe we'll. I don't think we put our tree up last year or the year before. Was I here? I don't remember. But it definitely feels like the year to put up a Christmas tree. I might go help my grandma put hers up. We'll see. I should. She's part of my little extended quarantine circle. So, even though I was in the car with my grandma and I wore a mask, but I'm down. If it prolongs her life, then it's a very, very, very minor inconvenience. Archangel of Mysteries, wings on ancient things. I feel like everything in this is going to need a clarifier. But the Archangel of Mysteries speaks of things that it's left in the dark. And with the Archangel of Mysteries, but this is beyond the dark. It reminds me of when the Archangel of Mysteries was here for the Hierophant spread, and that's one that I almost did. Even though I still haven't written down what everything means. When I did that self read and the Devil and the Archangel of Mysteries came out right up top, and I was like, what is this? So the Archangel of Mysteries has the ability to walk the higher realms, the middle realms, and the lower realms, and to remain basically intact, right? Whenever certain energies enter certain spaces, it's like they're affected by the environment, right? Like if you go somewhere really, really hot, then you're gonna sweat a lot until your body acclimates. And if you go somewhere really, really cold, then girl, you're gonna freeze until your body acclimates. And those who live in those places, partially acclimatized and they partially have the wardrobe for it, and they're accustomed to that lifestyle. But since the Archangel of Mysteries is permitted to walk all of these realms, she can go into the lower realms and help guide lost souls. But with the three stars at the top of this, it just feels like something that is so far removed that it's like it's taking some time. It's taking some time to get to you. And it's something, it feels like something related to the core of who you are. And so, speaking of trials being one of the ways we find these things, it's almost this energy of like having to go through great difficulty to dig that deep to find this thing. Because otherwise, it's like you'd have no need for it. Oh gosh, and we're just gonna keep going. We're not gonna dwell too long on anything here, because, like I said, I was not expecting this. So the transient nature is, girl, look at this. Y'all see this? Justice, the Chancellor. So she was here before. The transient nature or soul is justice. And I love that. It's something, it restores balance. It's to make something right. It's almost this energy of like, you can't judge someone. It's like, don't judge something or someone before you walk, until you walk a mile in their shoes or something like that. And so here's been like lifetime after lifetime, perhaps, or just a period of time of walking in someone's shoes, right? It reminds me of kind of sort of how I felt the whole like Lucifer thing a minute ago, where, because Lucifer's whole thing was that people were terrible, humans were terrible, and they didn't deserve the love that God gave them. And so it's almost like, not almost like, in some weird way, I don't like talking about some of these things as if they're mythology, but let's just do a little thought experiment. Like, let's say that Lucifer set out to prove how difficult it wasn't to live on Earth. And so he was going to come down here and just, show God or whoever up there that, you can be on Earth and still be a decent person. And then he fell. Unintentionally, but he fell. And again, it's that energy that makes the Archangel of Mystery so special, is that she's like the only one, or one of the few who are permitted to walk all of these realms, because she's fall proof. She won't be changed or dissuaded or persuaded or tempted out of her character. And, that wasn't the same. What was it? It wasn't Sodom and Gomorrah. What city, where is it? Was it where like a bunch of angels went down to visit, and they were like tempted by the daughters of man or something, and they started sleeping with humans, and then like Nephilim were born, or that's how the giants were born or something. I don't remember, but the angels came down to earth, and then they liked it a little too much, and they fell, because it's like the gravity is just that dense, I guess. And so after people started falling, they were like, "Oh, let's not go down there, because some of the mightiest have fallen, and if the mightiest can fall, then girl, ain't nobody safe down there." But with justice, it's an energy of setting things right or rectifying things. Let's look at justice, the Chancellor, and she's blind. It's like Bird Box. She's blind so that she won't be tempted, right? That's not the Celtic cross. What cross is that? I don't remember. That's a bunch of holy looking orbs. I think that's orbs. Holy. What was I going to say? I don't know. That almost looks like a peacock feather here. There are these flowers that I know mean something, because with Benabel, everything means something. I think that's the Mystic Rose. And there's this Ankh standing behind her at the gate of life. So going on theme with this, I feel like this speaks of mission or purpose. This is so interesting because earlier today there was this one dream I had a minute ago, and I was thinking about it earlier, and I think I know why now. But it speaks of mission or purpose to balance or rebalance. And I feel like it's for us to come into these spaces of embodying these like minor Archangel of Mysteries energies, where we become absolute in the truth of who we are to the point that we're not tempted or led astray by things down here. So we can be the beginnings of the return of this justice energy. Now, things are already shifting in that direction. So, behind on the stream. Oh, no problem, Corinda. No problemo. You are absolutely fine. It's interesting. It's interesting that this is coming out now. And 11. It is November. And it was just November the 11th, like 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago. And so there's also, it feels like there's this element of approving here. And that's why this is here as well. It also reminds me of something that I read in Inuit traditions. If a hunter wants to be a shaman in his next life, then he will let a polar bear eat him. And then he comes back as a shaman in his next life. And it's a similar energy, but not necessarily. Like, I don't know if like that level of sacrifice was required or whatever, but it's like a virtuous soul doesn't long go tarnished. And so that's another energy kind of sort of behind trial or tribulation. It's to dig at, to find, to uncover the core, this core that's been protected, hiding at the heart of the ego. And once we balance the ego, it's sort of released. Very hermit energy, but hermit beyond like your usual hermit. Next, we have the grotesque, which is the Five of Cups, and I love the grotesque because in this deck, the grotesque speaks of these natural abilities that make us outcasts, that we choose to hide or to sort of diminish. And then we have the outlaw at the bottom of the deck, and I was literally just talking about all the witches who was burned at the stake. And that's and then like with the discerning one and the conservator, it was also that. So I don't want to say goodbye to your normal life. Say goodbye to the peace you had, to the lack of responsibility, because someone's coming into some conservator type energy. And you just got to be more responsible. It is the warrior, so you have to be responsible when you have that much ability. I know somebody in my hometown. He is famously or notoriously known. It's that like his fists are. It's gonna sound silly when I say it, but I think there's actually truth behind it. His fists are like classified as lethal weapons or something like that, because like what he can do with his bare hands, it's like he's been through some things. And I actually haven't seen him in a minute, which is interesting. I used to see him every now and then. I guess I haven't really been home in a minute either, so it's understandable. But it speaks to that level of sort of control, I guess, that we have to have over self. And maybe this is the reason why this was hidden where it was. So that way it won't be misused. Right. Also, the Five of Cups came out earlier today with the Queen of Cups, but that was different. What is this one? I did not expect this. Oh gosh, but I'm kind of liking it. So this is the canal to realization. That's what I titled this one. So this is the transient nature. This is sort of like, this is before it goes in the ground. This is before it really reaches the point of like germination. And it reminds me of something that I heard someone say one time. It was that like with the Queen of Swords energy. But it's also related to justice, because it's like once you get that sort of truth, once you get that power, then you won't even want to use it. Because with the discerning one, like, you know what it's for and what it isn't for. And to use something of that caliber irresponsibly is probably how some of the angels fell and became demons. Or it's related. It's related if that's the story that you follow. But with great power comes great responsibility because of what you're capable of. And then, oh, this is so funny. The Sacred Fire, Ace of Wands, is coming out literally in the same position that the Ace of Wands Salamander was here in. And this is that germination energy, but like times 10. It feels like sudden interest in things, honestly. Right? Like, let's say all of a sudden you want to paint and you've never painted in your life, but there's not a lot of stuff going on right now. Or maybe there are, but you just want to pick up painting and you find out that like you're amazing. Or you pick up an instrument or you're led to something else. That's what this feels like. It feels like a sudden like shift in interests or in passion. Yeah, it's a sudden shift in interest that'll lead to something that like I feel like you have a lot of natural sort of talent for. And if it is something like artistry, creativity, music, in any type of way, anything that will give you an audience, it will come with a platform for which to spread a message. And maybe you use that platform to spread a message of some kind of love and light and peace, right? Like you do something with it. Whatever it is, it's for a reason. And it's like really gonna reignite something. This, whatever that is. Because right now it's like when it's in this urn cage type thing, it can't catch fire. But as soon as it's outside of that, then it's this coal, this spark that never dies. That it just burns and burns and burns and burns ad infinitum. Speaking of Phoenix arisen. And then we're gonna end this with clues to the next life. It's the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords is a messenger, so we are going to get an extra card, which I'm very happy about. I might I Ching these two, just to see what comes out. But the next life is this life. I mean, it just feels like something, again, with the Page of Swords, something that would be brand new. That maybe we haven't given a lot of thought to before. And it's also something related to probably something that we wouldn't have, the Chariot and the Ace of Cups, something that we wouldn't have even been open to before. because there's part of this is unlocked. What is this message of the Page of Cups? I'm not going to take this, but I am curious what it is. The Queen of Wands with the Page of Pentacles. With another messenger. They'll come out if they're supposed to. Cards do that. Or it could be related to something that, like, we've always kind of sort of had this lingering interest in, but we never really picked it up. Like, for me, tarot was something that I've always been interested in. But because of my upbringing and because of where I was, I guess, I never really got into it. There's a whole lot of stuff that I've always been interested in. And it wasn't until 2 years ago that I finally like got my first decks, and then I got into astrology in early 2019 and everything else, and here I am now. So it could be related to a space of interest, but it feels like something that we haven't really explored too much, but it holds a lot of interest to us for a very valid reason. Thank you. Bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck, the Page of Cups. Another messenger. So we've seen all. If this is the Page of Wands, I'm going. I probably. Okay, it's not. It's the High Priestess, which is interesting because the High Priestess came out in this position. The High Priestess came out in position 6. The Ace of Wands came out in position 5. These we've seen literally in this space when I went through the cards and laid it all down. With the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck, I feel like that's like, it's time to wake up, it's time to remember, it's time to rediscover, it's time to learn who you are. I've been talking to a friend who is a longtime friend of mine, very long time, who was starting her journey, and she's like, it's wild the things that I'm discovering about myself. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I love it though. Anybody I meet, I'm like, especially if I have a deck, especially if I have like the Witch's Tarot, I'm like, pull me some cards. Because for me, in my opinion, it's one of those cards, or it's one of those decks that has imagery that is like scenic and vivid enough that even without a knowledge of the majors, the minors, and everything, you can still read something off of the card. And there's been a few people who have done that too, and I love it. And it's usually accurate or relevant. But I'd be the first person to be like, "Oh my gosh, like you should try this." And it's not for everybody, I know that, but I don't know. I'm into it. The High Priestess. The High Priestess with the Page of Swords to me says that we know more than we think we know, and we know a lot more than we know we know. And there are some things that we don't know. There are some things that we probably know that we don't know, but that we actually do know. High Priestess, Archangel of Mysteries. They both know, but don't necessarily speak. It almost feels like it's one of those things that it's like it has to be experienced, right? Like you could walk someone through the fundamentals of riding a bike all day long, but until they get on the bike and start to ride, like that balance, it's something that is acquired by experience. It's one of those things where the theory of it, it's like theory without practice would only confuse. And so there's a certain threshold, I guess, that we reach, or a certain space that we reach where these things start to be confirmed. And it's a very North Node Gemini type energy in the space of things that we actually practice instead of things that we sort of like theorize about with South Node and Sagittarius. Because when we practice it, we get better. So I'm just curious to see what the I Ching between the Two of Wands and the Four of Pentacles is. We'll see if it's anything relevant. This was interesting. I love that I feel like it was vague enough. Because it would be different for everybody. I feel like, just like people have their own certain. Why does this always go to the first page? Do I need to turn on resume or something like that? Sorry. It's like, we all have different talents and gifts and things like that. And it takes many different people to make the world run the way it does. And so I don't necessarily feel that I have to specify anything. And it's like you, right? So you should know. You would know better than I do. Aren't you? You? Hello? This is going to be Mountain over Thunder, which is interesting. Mountain over Thunder is number 27, Nourishment. What's Thunder over Mountain? I'm curious. Thunder over Mountain is the details. We're going to read both. Okay. If I can remember the second one, then we'll read it. If not, then we won't. 27 is a 9. 9s are about completion. And it feels like, I don't know. So, this is Corners of the Mouth and Nourishment. Open your mouth to begin receiving the nourishment you seek. Good fortune can be had if you take affirmative action toward your own well-being. Pointing at the self, to know the self is to know what goes in and what comes out of the mouth. The true measure of who you are is in how you nourish your body, what you put into it, balanced with your speech and the words you let out of your mouth. Do not abandon your own inner oracle. Listen to the divine within. Nourish that divine within. And I love that. I really love that, especially for this. Because this is related. Like, whatever this is, this kindred oracle with the Archangel of Mysteries, again, I feel like it's hidden deep within. It's like, if we go on this hermit journey, it's going even deeper than the hermit and then even deeper than that. And it comes, like, it gets closer and closer to the surface the more we sort of work through our ego. Like, for me personally, there have been things that I'm discovering are like actually extremely important to me in very like weird and abstract ways. Like I can't realistically in this human body do anything with this. But it's interesting because I feel like it's very telling for me in a very sort of fundamental way. So next is 62. Pay attention to detail. The sage is humbler than the humble, expressing more sorrow than the sorrowful, and is more frugal than the frugal. Do everything there is to do a little bit better than everybody else. Pay attention to the details, and in that way you shall achieve success. The timing for your intentions is not right at the moment. It is still premature for you to take action. Initiate small changes toward your goal. Do not petition for a dramatic change or instant results. Advance up the ladder one rung at a time. Great prosperity if you heed the message. Now that one is less applicable to this because that's like the reverse of what this was. Or like if the placements were different. But I feel like it's still sort of accurate for what we expect. The Vagabond, 5 of Pentacles. Oh, look, and then there's the Gardener. Okay, so I'm not looking back here for no reason. And then there's the Queen of Pentacles with... Hey, there's the Erudite. Thank you. The Hermit is sitting right behind that Page of Pentacles. I love it. So while you've been outside, cast aside, abandoned in some ways, when it was only you and your shadow, you and the things that you run from. If you chose to bring it in a healthy way, then it's like it guides you right to whatever this thing is. With that hermit, with the erudite, it's like this intense study of the self, understanding the self in a more fundamental way. Maybe for those who believe in past lives and other incarnations, it's in a way, it's like understanding these pieces of you that more or less remain constant from incarnation to incarnation to incarnation, that are very, very foundational to who you are. And there has to be some function associated with that, right? Or like some reason why we're as attracted to the things that we're attracted to. It's all found within. Hmm. Interesting. All right. Well, yeah, that was not the direction that I thought this was going, but that's fine. That's fine. I might actually. I kind of want to like. I really like the theme behind this. I really like when I build these spreads. Some of these I'm like, oh, I really, really like this. I really, really like this. This is one of those ones that I really, really like. And again, with Bear and Samdi, it is the energy of the Page of Wands. So it's nothing that we've yet mastered. We're not yet a king or a queen in this. I don't. I was gonna say I don't know if we've ever been a king or queen at it, but maybe so. Archangel Commander and the Ten of Wands, the burdened one with the Archangel Commander. Yeah, with great power comes mucho great responsibility. Okay, let's get a final message from the SKT. There's a Chariot at the cut again with the bereaved, 3 of Swords. Interesting, interesting, interesting. The Magician with the Chariot. I love that energy. Let's get a... Oh, gosh, that was quick. Oh, and the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. The Page of Cups that we just saw, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords, the Hector. So we've seen the Five of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups. Five of Wands is the only card we haven't seen. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Cups. Abyssum Abyssus Est. The depths of you are the abyss within me calls to the abyss within you. We'll just take this one right here. The Queen of Cups. Okay. So the Queen of Cups is bringing the Page of Cups. Earlier I saw the Queen of Cups with the Five of Cups, and I talked about that. So it feels like this Page of Cups is running in between the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Sent by the Queen of Cups to this Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles stands at the gateway of our experience. So she's the one who permits or disallows something to come in. This is going to be interesting. I've been hearing like all day today, don't mess it up. I've been seeing all day today, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Was it the night before last? I think it was the night before last I watched a movie. And one of the characters constantly said, don't F it up. Because it feels like it's coming in a way that we may not necessarily expect, or that we may not initially be open to whatever this is, even though we've deserved it, we've earned it. Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is going to begin turning. It's Sagittarius season now. Here's a Sagittarius card, the Wheel of Fortune. And so it's like Queen of Cups, Queen of Spirit, Queen of Connection. It's like you've done enough to get this. tell the Queen of Pentacles to release it or to allow this into their experience. Now, the Queen of Pentacles, Ebony Shield. Oh, look, Ebony and Ivory. The Ebony Shield and the Ivory Shield. A Chariot energy. And then the King of Pentacles is the Archangel of Mysteries. So maybe it's going to be something that triggers some of this as well. And then here's the Hector. This is coming off of the Warrior spread. But the Hector is the one who won't leave the battlefield. Again, with the Conservator and the Discerning one, I feel like there's going to be a need for restraint. With great power comes great responsibility. And it's like everything that we need will be provided, so we don't have to worry about being extremely self-serving in whatever this is. We don't really have to worry about being self-serving at all. And the Hector, our Hector was beaten by Achilles. Before Achilles, Hector was unbeatable. And Achilles is the one who had the vulnerability. It was his heel. And that's interesting because I think Achilles' mom, I can't remember her name, dipped him in the river Styx when he was a baby so that he wouldn't die, so that he'd be immortal. And his heel is the only part that didn't that wasn't submerged in the water, because I guess that's what she was holding him by or something. And the river Styx is associated with, it's one of the rivers associated with the underworld. I can never, Phlegethon. Is it Phlegethon? Because I was literally just going to say I can never remember the name, but I think it's Phlegethon. Hey Siri, what is the river Phlegethon? We'll see.
Okay. I found this on the web for What Does the River Flag. Check it out.
Oh, gosh, not flag. Siri, hold up. If it's Phlegethon, I'm a flip. I think it might be Phlegethon. Phlegethon. In Greek mythology, the river Phlegethon, English translation is flaming, or Pyrophlegethon, English translation fire flaming, was one of the 5 rivers in the infernal regions of the underworld, along with the rivers Styx, Lethe, Cocytus, and Acheron. I knew all of these. Why did I think it was only 2 though? Styx and Phlegethon, Acheron. Maybe Acheron, I've seen Acheron before. I definitely had this memory of Lethe. I don't know how to pronounce it. Lethe, and Cocytus, Cocytus. But with the river Styx, I think that's the river that all of the lost souls are in. Speaking of lost souls, with that Archangel of Mysteries, hold up. So let's read this a little bit. Plato describes it as a stream of fire which coils around the earth and flows into the depths of Tartarus. It was parallel to the river Styx. Okay, that's why this is the one that popped into my mind, because it was parallel to Styx. It is said that the goddess Styx was in love with Phlegethon, but she was consumed by his flames and sent to Hades. Eventually, when Hades allowed her river to flow through, they reunited. Aww! That's kind of cute. Consumed by her love. Oh, goodness. That's less cute. It's a deity and a river that forms the boundary between Earth and the underworld. The rivers Acheron, Cocytus, Lethe, Phlegethon, and Styx all converge at the center of the underworld on a great marsh, which sometimes is also called the Styx. According to Herodotus, the river Styx originates near Phineus. Styx is also a goddess with prehistoric roots in Greek mythology as a daughter of Tethys, after whom the river is named, and because of whom it had miraculous powers. Ooh, so let's talk about Styx. Since we're talking about Baron Samedi and everything else, I feel like it's very on brand. Science? What? We got science? On July 2nd, 2013, Styx officially became the name of one of Pluto's moons. Pluto has moons! What? I thought people said Pluto was too small to have moons. Wait. I feel like I knew this. Because Kerberos. Maybe I didn't know this. Maybe not. So on July 2nd, 2013, Styx officially became the name of one of Pluto's moons. The other moons of Pluto, Charon, Nix, Hydra, and Kerberos, also have names from Greco-Roman mythology related to the underworld. Kerberos is Cerberus. Charon is the ferryman over the river Styx. Nix, I can't remember, but I think Nix might be the goddess of night. And then Hydra was the monster. Thetis, I think Thetis was Achilles' mom. Let's see. Related articles. Thetis is a figure from Greek mythology with varying mythological roles. She mainly appears as a sea nymph, a goddess of water, or one of the 50 Nereids, daughters of the ancient sea god Nereus. Maybe she wasn't. When described as a Nereid in classical myths, Thetis was the daughter of Nereus and Doris and a granddaughter of Tethys, with whom she sometimes shares characteristics. Often she seems to lead the Nereids, or the Nereids, as they attend to her tasks. Sometimes she is also identified with Metis, or Metis. I don't know how to pronounce any of these. I'm not Greek, sorry. Maybe she isn't Achilles' mom. Hold on, wait. In the Trojan War cycle of myth, the wedding of Thetis and the Greek hero Peleus is one of the precipitating events in the war, which also led to the birth of their child Achilles. Okay, so it is Achilles' mom. Thank you. I was like, wait, what? But anyway, back to Styx. Because she got miraculous powers. Baron Samedi also had some healing stuff, which was pretty significant. Styx was the name of an Oceanid nymph, one of the 3,000 daughters of Tethys and Oceanus, the goddess of the river Styx. In classical myths, her husband was Pallas, and she gave birth to Zeus, Nike, Kratos, and Bia, and sometimes Eos. In these myths, Styx supported Zeus in the Titanomachy? I don't know. Where she was said to be the first to rush to his aid. For this reason, her name was given the honor of being a binding oath for the deities. Knowledge of whether this was the original reason for the tradition did not survive into historical records following the religious transition that led to the pantheon of the classical era. So she's got miraculous powers, consumed by her love for Phlegethon. She burned it, and then in Hades they were united and stuff. Anyway, is all of that necessary? Yes. Why? I don't know. Because so the river of Styx is miraculous, but if you fall into it, you're lost. You become one of the lost souls. And in one of the movies that I'm going to watch later, there was this point where someone was thrown into the river Styx and someone else dove in to save her. And that's what turned that person immortal. But it was that selfless act that did it. And then when Atropos went to do her thing, because he was at the end of his line, she couldn't cut the thread. Speaking of the fates, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. That was a journey. Is there a river in this card? Or is the river in the Five of Cups? There is a river in this card. Hold up, wait. This might not be a river. No, I don't think this is a river. This is the land because there are pillars on top of this thing and somebody's walking on it. This is Earth. So the Five of Cups holds the river. And let's go look. No, we won't do it. You see it? It goes all the way back there. Between the two pillars, High Priestess energy. I mean, two pillars are featured on a lot of things. But with the Wheel of Fortune, things are going to be turning around. And I feel like there's going to be a need to remain humble Because that's what the first I Ching talked about, right? The sage is humbler than the humble for a reason. Because anything given can be promptly and quickly just taken back. That was a little lot for a final message. So we'll do this one more time. Hopefully we'll get like a 1 or 2 cards. Hey, look, there's that Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands again. We saw those 2 aces on the rebirth side of things. Let's see. Okay. We'll note them, but I'm not going to take them. 10 of Swords, the Moon, and the 10 of Cups. The Destroyer, the Necromancer, and the Joyous One. The Destroyer, dead. Necromancer, coming back to life. The Joyous One. It reminds me, there is Styx and Phlegethon, who was reunited in the underworld because, Hades permitted her river entry. But it also reminds me of Orpheus, and I can't remember her name. Usually I remember her name. Oh, look, the Conservator. With the Queen of Swords, Scarlet Shield at the bottom of the deck. That's going to be our final message. But it reminds me of Orpheus and how he went to the underworld to rescue his lover. But he looked back. He looked back right before he was going to leave, and Hades was like, you can have her if you can get out with her, and if you don't look back at her. Now, she was a ghost, so he couldn't hear her breathe, and he couldn't hear her footsteps. So there was no way for him to know that she was behind him. And so, literally at the finish line, he turned around to make sure that she was there. And then he lost her. And it's like, you couldn't just walk like 5 more steps and then turn around. You couldn't just finish it first and then turn around. I feel like it speaks to a certain element of faith and a certain element of trust that in the workings of things, that there are things sort of being worked out in these ways that we're not hardwired to perceive, but we may be soft wired to. I don't know. But yeah, that's what that reminds me of. But it's like it's coming back and like for real this time, because the necessary transformation has happened with that 10 of Swords to allow this space of this rebirth. And it's almost like, we're clearing out some room to allow something to grow. Like if a garden is too, if there are too many things in the garden, if the roots of this plant can't spread out, then it's probably going to die, and whatever was already there is going to continue to survive. But with the Conservator, who is this? This is the Sun and Capricorn. Hey, that's next. So we got Capricorn season, which takes us into the year 2021. I think Capricorn season is going to see Mars finally go into Taurus and leave Aries. I think Capricorn season is also going to see Uranus go direct. I think. Well, then Mars is going to conjunct Uranus in Taurus, because that's where Uranus is. Uranus has been retrograde in Taurus. Mars has been retrograde in Aries. Mars is direct now. Uranus is still retrograde. Neptune actually goes direct here pretty soon, I believe. Neptune goes direct here pretty soon. Don't quote me, because, what do I know? But let's see. I think it's the 29th or the 30th. Oh, Mars is conjuncting the moon right now, and they're both on top of my Venus. The moon is 17 degrees Aries. The moon is 17 degrees Aries. Mars is 10 degrees 16 degrees Aries. Sorry. What's in Libra? Nothing but the icy. Let's see. Oh wait, Neptune, yeah. So Neptune goes direct in 2 days and 23 hours. So on the 28th here, 7:58 p.m. Eastern time, it will station direct. And then it'll be retrograde again June 25th, 2021. So in 30 weeks and 2 days, it'll retrograde 23 degrees Pisces. Cute. Okay. The conservator, though, again, that's that protector. I feel like there's also this need to not be extremely, like, to not suffocate, I guess, would be the way to put it. And then in the conservator, all four elements are represented. Are there two pillars? No, there's not. Excuse me. You see the elemental glyphs for air and earth, and then water and fire up top. Feels like a portal for some reason. The solar eclipse is going to be in Sagittarius, but it's right before Capricorn season. We actually had a full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn at the beginning of this year, I believe. It was like January, sometime between the 7th, the 11th, or the 19th. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it was this year. Excuse me. 2021 is going to be coming up. If you would like a reading for 2021, send me an email. I'm just playing. I have low key been thinking about potentially doing them, but I don't know. It's interesting to just like, I think I'll like just having the card, but I don't want like an interpretation on what my year is gonna be. I'd rather live it. So like this year I was a little frustrated and annoyed sometimes when I would look at the card. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Eclipses for 2020. That's what I'm looking at. Because I think in January we had that full moon Capricorn lunar eclipse. Hold up, wait. Oh, these are solars. Okay. Lunar. So yeah, January 10th, there was a penumbral lunar eclipse. What the? Wait, hold up. What? Hold up. Now they say Jalu. Now they say July 5. Wait, this is 3. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Oh, here we go. So yeah, January 10th, 2020. So that would have been in Capricorn. And if it's a lunar eclipse, like 9 times out of 10, or as far as I know, it's a full moon lunar eclipse. I guess I can go to Jan 10. We had a full moon Capricorn lunar eclipse in January, and we're ending the year with this Gemini full moon lunar eclipse, and then the solar eclipse in December. The sun in Capricorn speaks to me of gravity. And maybe that's why the conservator is here. It's something that takes its job very seriously. It's a very grave offense for a conservator to misuse their abilities and gifts. Those that are meant to guide and protect and to help them to heal. Instead, seeking personal gain and other things and being whatever. Is that kind of choices? Hey, look! Oh, no, that's the 8 of Wands. Oh, 8 of Wands with the Emperor. Still at the bottom of the deck. Oh, yeah, duh, because I didn't shuffle it. I also get a fun message from these. I feel like I've been talking for a hot minute. And I need to do some work. Ooh, it's been an hour and a half. Time just go. Time just be gone. It just be gone. I think I really like this bread though. I kind of want to like beef it up a little bit or build off of it. I can get into some past life type of spreads. There's that Justice and the Harpy. We saw both of these cards. Look, they're both winged women. Hey. Final message. These cards always go a little deeper than I wanted or intended. So bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands, the Dragon. And the two cards that came out, it's the Knight of Wands and the Hierophant, the Voodoo Warlock, and Hanuman. Hanuman is a deity that I don't really know anything about. And I've looked them up before. And I was like, oh, he's a deity. Okay. And the Voodoo Warlock. So Hanuman is running on the water, skipping and prancing and dancing on the water. And the Voodoo Warlock works with the element of earth, and fire is featured. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands, which is the dragon. And the dragon breathes fire. Honestly, this Voodoo Warlock is giving me like Maleficent type energy. Someone able to take the form and shape of a dragon. Or maybe a dragon able to take the form and shape of a person. Hanuman has a tail. Is Hanuman a lion? Probably. We talk about Lyra now. Lyrans. What is this? I mean, this could be. Y'all know how I go on and on about Hierophant energy. Hierophant energy keeps us in these Knight of Wine positions where we're not able sometimes to really connect truly to the depths of what we want because we're so concerned with abiding by some kind of law, structure, or system. And what it does is it keeps us from experiencing the depths of who we are because Hanuman is over the water. Now, to some, or in some instances and cases, that's something miraculous. But I feel like in this one, it's not. Or it might be. With the Voodoo Warlock and Hanuman, there's this energy of like nature not behaving in the ways that it typically does. Or some natural forces not behaving in the ways that they typically do. But it's the way that they typically behave because it's the way that we've always experienced them, or the way that it's the way that we've been shown to experience them. And so I don't think this is bad. Honestly, this is a lot. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. It feels new. It feels like an expansion. And it feels like elemental forces showing us what it is that they can do. outside of what it is that we've come to know them to do. And I feel like it also relates to the self. There are these things in our own nature that maybe we have a super natural ability or an extra natural ability or like a heightened ability. But it's like if you don't use it, you lose it, and so it was lost. But it wasn't lost. It was being kept. But we have to get it back. And it happens through the space of not an ego death, because this isn't the Ten of Swords, but there's this dragon that we have to face. It's like this internal dragon energy has to learn to take the shape and form of man, of us. To put it in a context that is usable or workable or whatever. I do not know. But that's what I got. This was interesting, if nothing else. And if you watch this, I hope you find something that resonates in here for you. If not, that's unfortunate. Can't get time back unless you can, but then you still can't. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good whatever whenever they see this, and I hope y'all all act in alignment to make the good better, the better great, the great wonderful, the wonderful fantastic, and all of that miraculous. Because for those who believe in and act in alignment and accordance to such things, they are much, much, much more likely to occur and are always constantly happening. Maybe in ways that you don't even see at the moment, but at a certain point, they will show their faces and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I manifested this. It's like, yeah, you did. I don't know. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you, Casey, Clarinda, and Zelda for stopping by. It was mucho fun. I don't know why I'm a fan of the word mucho today. But I'm going to go. Take care of some stuff, or I might just go to bed because honestly, I'm feeling an early sleep today. Bye. Oh, and have a great holiday. If you have lost someone in America, because I know it's not a universal holiday, if you've lost someone and this is your first holiday without them this year, because this year has been this year, or even if it wasn't because of this year, I mean, if there's someone that you're missing this holiday season, especially as we're diving deep into holiday season, wishing you all of the comfort and peace and everything. If you're not spending it with family this year and that's got you feeling some type of way, I also wish you comfort and peace. And, yeah. Yeah. Thank you again, Clarinda. Take care and talk soon. Bye.